Davey, wake up, dude. Wake up. Davey. Davey, are you... Come on, mate. We've got to do the podcast. It's episode 93. We've done 93 of these things. We're coming up to 100. We've got to do the podcast. You've got to wake up.
Yeah, man. Mate, look at me. I'm sprightly. Good.
Let's
great, actually.
Let's
really
start
good.
things off with a huge round of applause.
Oh,
Huge round of applause from me
it.
and all of the companionship for completing your task. You said you were going to do it. You went out and did it.
Yep. Did. That is true.
Right,
that is very true.
Give me the summary. Give me the overall summary first of all. To maybe someone's tuning into the podcast. Maybe they haven't heard what you did. You've just woken up from sleeping after doing the 4x48. What is it?
Yeah. So okay, great. Let's get straight into it, man. Let's no nice it is. We're getting straight into it,
dude.
But like and subscribe before we because because we're coming up to that 100th episode and we need to hit 10k followers on YouTube before then.
Yeah,
so
please
like, subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe again.
Just do something.
All right, let's get into it though.
Just you know what I mean? Just do
Leave a
something
comment,
good, like comment or like because absolutely.
Help the boys out, man. We're struggling over here.
Jeez, dude. Right, come on,
tough.
come on. We're back in.
Okay, so the 4x4x48 is a challenge which was first created by David Goggins, who is he's probably better known as an ultra runner / motivational speaker / former Navy SEAL, and he's been on Rogan's podcast a bunch as well, and that's how I first started hearing about him, telling his story. I've read a couple of his books, and then I believe it'll have been 2021 when I first saw it. I don't know if he'd done it before.
Yep.
But he created this challenge called the 4x4x48. The concept of the challenge is you run 4 miles. Run, walk, ride, hop, whatever you want to do. Something for 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours, which basically totals a 48-mile run, hike, bike,
cartwheel,
row, whatever it is you're doing. Cartwheel. So that's basically the concept in a nutshell.
You're no stranger to it
so
either,
you do
right?
12 rounds. No stranger to it, man, which is crazy. Well, okay. So when I first saw it, it was mid-pandemic. It was in 2021 in the pandemic. And I think by that point, a lot of people had been stuck in the house for a long time. You know, gyms had been shut. And I think people often were maybe feeling a little bit lonely. Maybe you needed that little bit of something to do. And I remember talking about it on here, saying, I've seen this challenge. I think I'm going to give it a go. Just because I think I need that little bit of a thing.
Yeah, I hear you.
So there is already 2 edits, like videos, I guess, that I've made on our channel if you want to watch them, how it's progressed.
They're just in the description below,
aren't they? They might be. Yeah, they might be if we remember. Yeah, they might be. So in 2021, so let me tell you how we got to the point of where we are now. So in 2021, I did it quite simply. I did it quite a traditional way that people do the 4x4x48. So I used home as a base camp. I did a pretty basic 4-mile run, which was from here to a petrol station. It was quite a steady climb, steady down, and then back again. So it's like just going like nice. It was just hardly any elevation. But at that point, I didn't really know what this challenge entailed. Didn't know how it was going to feel. I was a bit nervous, obviously, going into it as well, because I don't really do much running, if I'm honest. So 2021, that's the first time I did it. I just did it really traditional, home as a base camp. You come home, you get changed, you have a shower every 4 miles, every 4 hours. Obviously, the bit that makes this challenge hard is that you are going every 4 hours. So you run, hike, walk, or bike, or whatever, every 12, 4, and 8. And then you rinse and repeat. 12, 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, finish at 8. Did it that way. The second year, so 2022, I did it, and I wanted to add a little bit of an extra element to it. So I did it all off-road. So I did it as a trail run. There's a loop from my house, which is a lot more elevation. It's actually quite steep. So I came from home, up the steep elevation, down the other side, got really muddy, really wet, really cold, but equally at the same time, ended up at home, got changed, got dressed, got some sleep, got warm, recovered, ate loads of food, and got going. But one thing that I've noticed actually, so towards the end of this challenge every year, around 40 mile, is obviously you start thinking about next year, what's going to happen. So I remember the first year I did it, I thought, I wonder if I could do this as a trail run. So I did. That was the next year. And then last year, I remember doing it and thinking, I wonder if this could be done entirely outdoors without home as a base camp. And then that niggled away in my head. This year came around. Normally what happens is David Goggins on his Instagram will put up a post about this is the date for the 4x4x48. You're going to start at this time, finish at this time. But there's a bunch of shit going on with it at the moment, where he's been sued, like typical American sue culture.
Yeah.
He's getting sued actually by someone who hit someone out running last year. So someone was out running, they got hit by a car, and the person who hit them in the car is suing David Goggins for organising the event, which is insane.
Bizarre,
that's
right?
What's going on. Crazy. So he didn't put anything out this year, and I just was like, kind of from... Usually it's in March, so I like from end of February to March, I'm thinking, I kept checking his Instagram account, you know, every now and again I'd check it and be like, has he put a date out yet? Nothing. So I didn't really do any training, didn't really do anything, and then saw that in February he'd actually put a post out that I'd missed, saying that do it at any point this year. Like, just do it whenever you can do it. So at that point, I gave myself 2 weeks before attempting it as an all-outdoor loop in the Peak District.
So with a 2-week lead time,
that's
you don't really give yourself any time for any form of like training camp or anything. But you do run normally, don't you? So you're at a certain level of fitness.
I do a little bit. I think I've got like a base level of fitness with running, which is okay. Like I've not done... Actually, in 2023, so far before doing this challenge, I had run, according to Strava, I don't always take my phone, but according to Strava, I'd run 14 miles in 2023. So not much training, let's be honest, not a great deal. But this challenge is weird, dude. And again, we'll get into this, but it's more of a head game. Yes, it's physical, because doing anything for 4 miles is somewhat difficult, whether it's a walk or a run or whatever. But the thing that gets you is the sleep deprivation, the monotony, keeping fueled, etc. So it's like, that's what I learned on the first one. Yeah, the running is obviously quite difficult, but it's the fact that you just have to keep going and just rest and then go again. So yeah, it is a weird one. Anyway, it was 2 weeks ago ish. I was like, right, I'm setting a date. I looked on my calendar, saw when I was free. I was like, right, Friday the 14th or whatever it was, to the 16th. There, I've got those two and a bit days free. That's when I'll do it, regardless of weather, regardless of anything. That's what I'm going to do. And then what I've learned in the last few years is that if you attach a charity to something, it helps. Like, it helps with your motivation. But the main thing for me is it helps with getting my girlfriend on side with Emma. Because if I just was doing it for me, she'd be like, you're an idiot. Why, you know, do you know what I mean? It just changes things a little bit. When you attach a charity to it, people are like, oh, like, yeah, good on you. You know, it's a bit different if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, which is fine. But ultimately for me, for the motivation, and also just to put some positive energy out. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's good. Yeah.
And there's that. And then also committing to it on here is a big thing. We spoke about this last week, I think it was, or the week before. Like, when you commit and you've got people that are aware that you're going to try and do something, it just adds that extra element. And I think that accountability can go quite a long way as well, because you're like, well, I can't let the people down that listen to the podcast or the people that are sponsoring already. Mate, and stuff. So that
you're telling me I've
really
ended up with a jet ski. I don't even like swimming. I've ended up with a jet ski. You're quite right. Yeah, it is my own fault, but
exactly.
But yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You almost owe it to people, don't you? When you say you're committing to something, it's like, no, that's it. I'm committing to it. So it's actually really, really good little segue, because obviously I left on Friday at 12 p.m. in the afternoon. On Thursday evening,
you did in the afternoon, yeah.
I was you set off in the afternoon at 12, so that means you finish at 8 a.m. in 48 hours, because you run that 4 miles first, if that makes sense. It took me ages to get my head around this, but you do 12 blocks, so you finish at 8 a.m. Finishing at 8 a.m. is really nice then, because you got the whole day just to like rest and recover and potter around.
Got you.
So it was Thursday evening. I'm sat downstairs, you know, I got a little bit of like anxiety, and I'm like, fuck, this is going to be actually pretty tough. There's a few other things I want to dig into about this as well, but I sat on the sofa and just like, oh, this is going to be like pretty gnarly. I was checking the weather all the time, because the weather basically was saying torrential rain for it'll be like the first day basically, so Friday till Saturday.
Yeah, that'll do
so
it.
So that 12 till 12 window. I'm looking at the weather. I'm just like, oh, this is going to be like setting off and getting wet is going to be awful. And Emma actually said, she was like, you could just go 12 hours later and you'd miss all of the rain. Like looking at the weather forecast, you'd miss all of it. And I'm like that's in my head then. I'm like, fuck, she's right. Like I could just miss all of the rain, but then you're like, no, I've committed. I said 12. I'm going at 12. Like that's what's happening.
And like if you had done it, you'd be postponing like the punishment. Essentially, it's punishment regardless of whether it's raining or not. So it's like
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You then get back later, 12 hours after when you should finish. So then you've got no time to recover. Like in the day, there's something really nice, isn't there, about having that like rest day after. Like you've done it, you finished. Oh, just take, and in my head, I'd already like worked out what I wanted to do on that Sunday morning. I wanted to just like see the dog and make breakfast and have coffee and stuff. So regardless of how I was feeling. So yeah, like I was sat and I'm like getting a bit anxious. I'm looking at weather and I'm like, I knew I wasn't really going to sleep. And I wrote down this list and I thought it might be quite interesting to talk about because it really helped me put things into perspective. So I just was sat on the sofa and I wrote down this really short list. And here it is for anyone viewing.
Nice.
This is my list. And I wrote down at the top, why am I doing this? Because I was really starting to think, because it was not an official challenge, right? It's quite literally self-inflicted. Like, it's like, I've set a date, I'm just going to do this thing. So I made this list. Why am I doing this?
Let's hear it.
And the list reads. Okay, the list reads, to see if it's possible. It's number 1. To show that it is possible, to raise money for those less fortunate, to push my body, to push my mind, to see where my limits are, to feel closer to nature, to think, to feel, and to be present, to reflect and to plan, and to show other people they too can do anything. And like I wrote that down and it really just put everything into perspective. And I was like, well, that's why I'm doing it. And this is what we're going to do. This is like, we're just going to be in it. And then I'll talk about at the end, in a bit, what did I learn? I wrote that down as well. That was like when I got back.
Okay,
so I wrote those, and then I was like, when I get back, I'll do what did I learn.
Nice.
So, yeah. So anyway, so Friday morning rolls around. I'm sorry, I'm totally hijacking this episode.
That's
but
good.
Yeah, Friday morning rolls around. Wake up, normal time, 6:30, 7 a.m. It's pissing it down, dude. And when I say it's pissing it down, like it is raining so hard outside and I'm like, I can't, like this is going to suck so bad. It's going to be like real gnarly to be out and be wet straight away. To just start wet is going to suck. But yeah, it was raining hard, man. I took the dog out for a walk. It was cold, windy, and I'm just like, oh, this is arguably the worst day. And you look on the weather and like every day was beautiful apart from that day. And then it was like beautiful straight after. But anyway, it is what it is. I think at this point also want to mention that I did have some help and I want to say a massive thank you to this guy. I'm not going to mention the name just because I don't like doing that on podcasts.
Is it a companionship member?
We have a companionship member that reached out and helped out massively. So I met this guy. I will call him G. I met G last week when we went to our film premiere. I met him in the morning and he hooked me up with military ration packs, a bivvy bag, clothing, down jackets, gloves, all this stuff that if I'd have gone with my original plan of what I was going to take out, there's no way would have made it. I'd have froze to death, I think. Like genuinely, because I'm not like particularly versed in outdoor living or let's call it survival, right? I'm not versed in it. It's not me. I've never slept outside in a bivvy. I've probably camped in the last 10 years twice ever. I don't like it. So in my head, I was like, well, as little stuff as I can take, the easier this will be because I'll not have to carry it. So in my head, I was taking just a sleeping bag, barely any food, not taking a jet boil to make hot food, not taking a spare set of clothes. And honestly, dude, it would have been... It's tough to say impossible, isn't it? It wouldn't have been impossible. It probably was possible, but it would have been so unbelievably miserable,
infinitely
and uncomfortable,
worse,
and unnecessarily like bad. That I think hypothermia and stuff is like you don't want to play around with that. I've been there. I've had hypothermia. It's really fucking shit. So yeah, so G stepped in, helped me out. I also decided to buy a bigger bag than what I'd originally bought. So I bought this really nice camelback that I just wanted to buy because it was beautiful. But then in hindsight, I'm like, right, I've got all this stuff. It doesn't fit. So I then bought another bag. And that's the one that I ended up taking.
So can we just quickly
at least give GL a shout
right,
out.
if you're going to do this chat, so your kit list, can you tell me what you actually bought along in your backpack with the sandwiches for the lads? And if you could go through it, and then maybe which bits that maybe you wouldn't have. Because actually, whenever I do anything, this is I don't know if any of our other listeners have this, but I always, when I go on a trip, I never know what to bring, and I used to overpack, and now I underpack, and it's for the same reason. I just don't have a fucking clue. So like,
I'm a huge underpacker, underpreparer.
Yeah.
I always think it'll work out. Like, and before you go and do this sort of stuff, or not this stuff, but any sort of traveling, you're like, I'll be alright with one pair of socks for a week. Like, fuck it, it'll be okay. I'll wash them in a sink or like whatever. That is how I am. I spent years traveling, obviously, around delivering vehicles and stuff, and I'd just have a backpack, and I'd just smell and just be uncomfortable.
And a lot of the time it's fine when you're in civilization, I think. Like, poor planning and shit packing is fine because you can always buy a toothbrush. You know, like I do that all the time. I just buy a set of socks if I run out, or I'll like clean my clothes. Like, all of this stuff is available to you. You can squeeze it into your day. When you're just like running through the woods and staying out in the open, I feel like planning and preparation is more important, right?
Yeah. Piss poor preparation promotes piss poor performance.
That's
right?
A Deaconated special, that is.
Exactly. Well, no doubt. And G, when I met him, said the same thing. He said, "Mate, you're better to have it and not need it than to not need it, and better to have it and not need it than to not have it and need it."
I'd rather be looking at it than looking for it. That's a Duncan Ferris one. That is.
There you go. Beautiful. Some mountain bikers coming in and also giving wisdom.
Sorry, I'm dropping so many fucking names right now, aren't I? Jeez.
Name drop, man. It's for the algorithm.
Some guy.
Fabio Wibmer, Sam Pilgrim. Yeah, YouTube loves that shit. So yeah, I did overpack, but and again, I want to talk about that, but I did overpack. So I'll go through the kit list if I can remember it, if that's okay. All right. So we'll start with the bag. I had a 40 litre. I thought 40, it was in here.
That's big, dude. That's way bigger than I thought you'd need.
Yeah, 40 litre bag, which was like a hiking pack. So it had got, the shoulder straps, the belly strap, the chest strap, etc.
Yeah.
That's got a camelback pocket. So I had a camelback already, which I bought in the bag that I didn't end up using. So that was a 3 litre camelback.
Nice.
Camelback, 3 litres of water. I also took this, if you're watching on YouTube, this clean canteen thing, ocean bottle. So that's another litre. So I had 4 litres of water to set off with.
It's quite heavy, isn't it?
So that's the water cupboard. We're going to get to that. So then I've also got clothing-wise, we're going to go one pair. This is when I set off. One pair of spare socks, base layer, Saks base layer. So base layer bottoms, base layer base layer bottoms, base layer jersey.
Yeah.
A spare hat, gloves, spare t-shirt, and I think that's it in that bag.
Fishing line,
these were all separate.
Like what we talking? No, none of that. No
Johnnies. I weren't expecting any of that. Nah, no Johnnies. No toothbrush. Decided to skimp on toothbrushes because. No, not yet. That came later. Okay. I had to call in the emergency Vaseline services to come and bring me
back. Oh man, now I'm doing a joke. There you go. Right. Okay.
No, I had to call them. Right. So yeah, I think that was clothing wise. Oh, I had a spare down jacket. So I had my coat, which was the Arc'teryx, the Terex one that we got, the blue one.
Yeah.
I had that, and then I had a spare down jacket.
Do you know why?
The reason I had all that stuff. Gone.
Well, I find this really interesting because I feel like this is two things that are like the polar opposites, isn't it? So it's like you're running, you get too hot, and you stay still, and you get too cold. So you have to. I guess that's why you have to have so much stuff, right?
Totally. Well, this was one of G's things as well that he told me. It's called the wet drill, dry drill. So you go for your run, whether you get wet, cold, or whatever. You get back to where you're going to be staying or sitting for 3 hours. Get dry clothes on. So I got into a pretty good routine of it. So it's like stop, everything off, dry clothes on, sit, right, you're going to go again, everything back out, wet clothes back on, do the leg, keep going. So yeah, so that was the clothing. Oh, I also had like a neck thing, a neck tube thing. But that was pretty much it for clothing wise. So then electrical, I had a battery charger, 2000 amp battery charger, which was quite heavy. GoPro, phone charger, GoPro charger, head torch charger, 2 head torches, one for using and one for spare. I think that's it on electrical stuff. I tried to keep that at a minimum. Obviously a phone as well. I had my phone with me.
Yeah.
Oh, and a thing to put your phone in, like a waterproof thing. So that was that. That was electrical stuff. I then had a jet boil, which again quite heavy. A jet boil. Food wise, so this was where I overdid it. Really overdid it. I thought I'd be eating way more than what I actually did. So G hooked me up with these really cool military ration packs, 10 different ones. So there's basically 10 different menus in
like
the
space food.
So
is
10
it?
different ones. Basically, yeah. So it's like it's basically like pre-made, I guess, in like a plastic bag almost food. Really cool, actually. I never used them before. I never even seen them before. But yeah, so I had.
So it's like pre-chewed.
5 main meals.
It's like being a baby bird, right? It's like Mummy
Not
Albatross
pre-chewed,
comes
well
back,
be.
it's pre-masticated, and she throws it up into your mouth out of a tin foil container. That's what it is, like a tin foil froob of
And then you just keep moving.
of albatross food pre-masticated. Are you impressed that I know the word for
Exactly.
mastication?
I am actually. It's close to another word, which I thought you'd go with, but no, pre-mastication is good.
Can you talk to me about your masturbation regime whilst you're out there? Let's carry on.
Yeah,
I
there
just
was
couldn't not
absolutely
say. I couldn't not say masturbation off. But yeah, come on, carry on.
Yeah. So then, where were we? So food, yeah. So I overpacked on food, dude. I had these 5 ration pack. Well, 5 main meals. Obviously thinking breakfast. 5 main meals. 1 for lunch, 1 for dinner. Breakfast, which is in there. So I had like muesli. And then I had energy bars, energy drink, tea, coffee. Honestly, dude, like, it doesn't sound like a lot, but to actually get it, to weigh it, it was like 3 kilogram, I reckon.
And it's like a banquet. You come back
So
putting on
much.
weight. You've done 48 miles.
Exactly.
And you put on weight. You
I know,
literally
and
come
you're
back
fat. Yeah. So I overpacked on food when I set off. But again, I didn't know what this was going to entail. I didn't know where I'd be. I had no idea. I was like, right, rather have too much food than be hungry. Major mistake. I then had a bivvy bag, a sleeping bag, and I think that is it.
Sensible
I think
footwear.
that's all. I can't think of anything else.
Do you remember on school trips?
Yeah, just one pair, obviously. Of,
Yeah. On school trips, I always remember they'd say pack
Sensible footwear.
Anorak, sensible footwear. And I was used to fucking just be thinking, what's sensible? Because like even flippers are sensible in certain, in certain situations. Flippers are really sensible footwear.
I'm at school. It's a fashion show.
Yeah. Well, my Mac.
It's got to be Air Max with the bubble.
But what defines sensible? It's a very difficult one to work out unless you know what you're really doing.
Yeah, unless you dress like Gandhi, I think it's sensible, right? Unless you've like wrapped in cloth.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Dude, you see the Gandhi thing that's happened recently? I'm really sorry. This is really going to irritate people that I'm cutting
Gandhi?
you off halfway
dead.
through. Not Gandhi.
You mean Dalai Lama?
Yeah, Dalai Lama. I got confused. Both spiritual leaders though, so that's why. Dalai Lama. Did you see the Dalai Lama thing?
I did, mate. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? It's tough watch.
What?
That is like
What?
out of all the people, the head of the Buddhism. I guess I don't know if you call it a religion, but the Buddhist movement, the most sacred, holy, enlightened being is asking kids to suck his tongue.
I mean, what is?
Faith in humanity is almost at 0 at this point.
I almost feel like no one's talking about it because it's just sort of so miserable. It's so like, but then I don't even know what tongue sucking.
Well, they tried to like pass it off, didn't they? Of been like, oh, he always makes jokes with kids and this and that. Like, the kid went to kiss him and he just made a joke out of it. But if you watch the video, it's
what happens. I haven't actually seen the video. I'm almost too sad to look at the video. Is it creepy? Is it sexual? The way it is.
From what I remember, I watched this last week. He grabbed the kid's head almost and like made him kiss him, and then put his tongue out and said, "Suck my tongue." So, yeah,
Were there people around?
That's
Like,
tough.
what's he doing?
It's
What's he
not-
up to? Do you know there's a camera there?
Yeah, this is
Not that
like...
it makes it any better.
I know, I think he's that... It don't make it better at all. I think he's that enlightened and he's that, I guess old too, man. I think that's a massive thing. Like, these people are old. They don't realise that every fucking person there's got a phone and they're all going to be filming it. And, these people, religious leaders and stuff like that are old people and they just think that it's the 70s where they can just do whatever the fuck they want.
I know he's a spiritual leader, but ultimately he is powerful. And maybe just power in general just makes you creepy. I don't know. Like why is it that every...
You think power always corrupts?
Kind of always. I mean, it's difficult to say it doesn't. It's like difficult to say it doesn't have... There's not evidence for it. Power... absolute power corrupts, absolutely. That's the saying, isn't it? Absolute power corrupts, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty...
I don't know.
Anyway, sorry for bringing that up. I just thought that's a lot, isn't it?
It's okay.
How did I even get onto it?
All these people that are... I don't know, you did some awful segue, but it's like every...
it's just someone...
All these powerful... all these powerful people, man, it's like they've obviously got way more eyes on them as well, and people want to try and catch them out, obviously, because they're powerful or they're rich or successful. But also it's like... imagine... I don't know. I'd like to think I wouldn't be like that. In fact, I'm sure I wouldn't. But like, when you're that powerful, imagine being someone that's at the top of like a religious thing, or like you're a billionaire and you can literally do and buy anything you want. Things are gonna, unfortunately, probably get a little bit sinister.
I know it's I know it's 2023, and I know I'm verging on becoming sort of a dinosaur. I feel like I'm becoming a dinosaur. In terms of the way I look at the world, etc. I think it's good to surround yourself with people who are going to call you out on your shit. And being called out on your shit is sometimes uncomfortable, but it's how I want to have people go like, what are you doing? That's insane. You can't wear a t-shirt with your face on the t-shirt. Or like I just want you just want people to call you out. That's a really crap example, but you want people to call you out on your shit.
No, but do you struggle with that because of, and this is, obviously I mean this with the greatest respect and stuff, but with you being in the position you're in with being an athlete and people want to work with you a lot, or people obviously respect you a lot.
What, just people saying
right?
Yes?
But do you find that you...
Oh,
yeah,
God,
exactly.
I hope
Do you get
not.
a lot of people that are just like, yes, people?
I hope not. I don't think it's...
It's good that you're aware of it, though, man.
I hope not, because I surround myself with people that make fun of me and on purpose. I feel comfortable in that environment when people call you out and you're, I really like it. Like it's so obvious when we're like in another country or something, or like we've just done this blah blah blah. Oh, fucking don't stop going about Mexico. But when we're in Mexico, it's so good to have the boys there just giving me shit like the whole time, and because you have these moments of like yes, celebration, yes, it's all working out, but then you go straight back to you've got a big head, or you're a twat, or your farts smell, or whatever, and it's just, there's something so like grounding about it, and I feel for the people that don't have that. I think like the Dalai Lama can't have had that, even though he's had even though in theory all his life is aimed at having a really good moral compass, essentially, innit? Like however you look at it, whether you're a whatever faith you follow, the idea is that these spiritual leaders or these people have fantastic moral compasses when it comes to like faith and religion. And
yeah. Oh, we got a guest.
Sorry. Never get why the phone ties into the computer. It's annoying, that, isn't it?
Oh, it's so annoying. I hate it.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it. Especially when your iPad rings as well and everything's just ringing at the same time. It's it's weird, man. I think you can get to this point where maybe you're like a marketing whiz or a successful business person, and then you surround yourself with yes people. But I bet it's hard to even figure out if you are or not, because you're trying not to, but then you still are. Like, did you see that recent thing with Bud Light? Have you seen that? I don't know if we could get into this because it's way too political.
No,
me, but did you see it?
No, I've heard someone make a joke about it, but I don't know. Can you explain it to me, and then we'll get back to your epic adventure? I'm sorry, I've really
I'll try.
ruined the flow.
I'll try, but it's no. I'll try, but I don't quite understand it all myself, and I'm not entirely sure who the person is. But so basically, Bud Light, I guess, is known as, I guess what's the word? It's like a working class drink, really. It's a blue collar drink, right?
Okay,
it's like tradies, and it's obviously it's American. It's very that's their market, let's say, right? It's going to be like working class. It's not like a sophisticated woke drink or anything, right? Anyway, but they did this sort of collaboration with Dylan Mulvaney, who is a transgender woman. So she started off as man, now a woman, and it just got so much backlash because obviously that's just not Bud Light's audience at all. Like, it's not. And I think this is tough to talk about because I don't want to. This is exactly what we talk about off air, right? I don't want to put my foot in it. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
All I want to do is jokes about more veiny, but I'm not going to. Things being more veiny than
that's good.
That's all I want to do, and I can't get it out of my Okay, so they messed up basically.
There's just been this massive backlash anyway at Bud Light, like massive backlash. People like not buying it. Kid Rock shooting it with guns, like all these, quite big social media people and whatnot. Just been like, I'm never touching this stuff again.
Because they did a advert with
and they did like a can,
person.
which was like and they did a can which had. Quite like I hate the word woke, but like rainbow on it and stuff like that. Which again, whatever. I mean, people can do what they want, but like that isn't Bud Light's audience at all, is it? It's like the opposite almost.
Hey, I'm all for everything, but there's a local Sainsbury's that said this Sainsbury's is LGBT friendly, LGBTQ and pie symbol and emoji and whatever, and I just think. Yeah, you would be because you're a supermarket and you sell food and all humans need food. I just think, what are you doing?
Away, right?
I hate that stuff so much because it's a business. Like, what are we talking about? And like Bud Light, what?
Yeah, they just jump on it, right? Just to get like.
Why does it matter where you put your willy or
Bud Light? Like, just keep making good beer, and that almost does it for you. Like, I know there needs to be marketing and stuff, but
you don't have to comment on it.
Just stay in your lane because. No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But you don't have to just stay in your lane because great marketing is often moving outside that lane and looking for a different target audience. But maybe that just wasn't the
You're
move.
A beer.
I don't know.
So...
Yeah, beer.
You're a beer. So maybe you don't have to comment. Yeah. They have any stance on sort of like Ukraine, Russia, sort of no cans on
Probably.
that? Like, why all the brands have to do? Oh, it's so annoying. Cost of living crisis beer. We could do that as well. Just anything that's current, really.
Yeah, exactly. Just jump on it. Try, and ultimately, it's just about making more money.
It's different when it's human and it involves human suffering and like people actually go through shit. I can only imagine how crap it is to have body dysmorphia and want to be a girl and I'm a boy and all of that. It's not like I don't have empathy for that, but it's just like, why does a beer have to comment on it? Like, why does it even matter or a supermarket? Why does it matter that a supermarket likes it, that you put your genitalia in a different hole? I can't imagine
that community is like.
Why is it?
That community is like, I only shop at Sainsbury's because it's LGBTQ.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
I don't go to Aldi. They've not got a sign on the door.
They're not friendly. They're not friendly. What? I want to see the biggest brand blunders. I bet there's some good ones.
Oh, I bet there's some classics, mate. Yeah, should we have a quick look?
What should we call this? Advertising
classics.
blunders, because all of them are as sinister as the next. Because
big brand marketing fails. This is a great
have you found
one.
it?
Biggest marketing fails of all time. Yeah, the Kendall Jenner Pepsi ad. That's apparently number one.
I love this stuff. This is the best. Oh, I love it. We found a really good section. It's my favourite stuff. Okay, what was this?
One marketing blunder, blah, 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 blah. 8 marketing fails and what they teach us. Kendall Jenner Pepsi ad. The long commercial from 2017 follows along with a marching protest and features popular model Kendall Jenner watching and then joining in. In the end, she walks to the front of the protest line and hands a can of Pepsi to a police officer. I remember this, as a peace offering. He takes the Pepsi and everyone cheers. According to Pepsi, the ad was a move to promote global unity, peace, and understanding, but it achieved the exact opposite. As soon as the ad came out, it received a storm of backlash and criticism. People found the ad insensitive and tone deaf. Further, the ad supposedly trivialized the Black Lives Matter movement and made the protest seem like a fun party.
Oh, I love it when they get it wrong. I actually do love it when they get it wrong. Dove had a win.
Hilarious.
How did they have a win with it? I thought these were blunders. I'm only interested in blunders. I don't want to see people do well. I'm a negative human being. This Dove had a win with the Positive Body Image Real Beauty campaign featuring real women in a positive light. It was an empowering campaign. In fact, the campaign has been running for 15 years and is widely noted as one of the most successful marketing campaigns. The company is striving to help reinforce a positive body image for women. Then, Dove got their hands dirty. In England, they released limited edition packaging designed to present diverse representations of female bodies. Their packaging compared women's figures to abstract, shapeless soap bottles. Simply put, the packaging sent the wrong message. I don't have an image for this, so I can't picture it. It sounds really funny, though. So basically, all of these just become punchlines on social media, pretty much.
Yeah, they do, yeah. And ultimately, you could say that some of them, they get a lot of notoriety after, even though they massively fucked up. Look at this one. It says, Burger King's Women's Day treat. On International Women's Day in 2021, Burger King UK's division published a Twitter thread where the first tweet said, "Women belong in the kitchen." And it was followed by two more tweets, one that said, "If they want to, of course," and another that announced their new scholarship program to help more women get a degree in culinary arts and reduce the gender gap in the restaurant sector. So it was like well-meaning.
Yeah.
Women belong in the kitchen is like not the one to start off that tweet.
This one seems insane. It's McDonald's. Have you seen this one?
I tell you what was bad in our industry was that Toyota.
Yeah, that was
with
bad.
That mountain biker.
That was just poorly informed, wasn't it? It was just terribly informed.
Yeah.
So McDonald's have obviously they sell. I think it's important to just state that they sell fast food, don't they? So they did.
Yeah.
Okay, the advert. I haven't watched it, but it says the spot shows a young boy talking with his mother about his dead father. And it turns out that one of the things they both shared was a love for fillet of fish sandwiches. I vaguely remember it. It's fucking absolutely awful. And obviously everyone said they're exploiting grief to sell sandwiches, which is what they're doing, yeah. But like I do actually remember that. That's awful, isn't it?
Yeah. That's really bad. Wow.
There's so many ones.
There's some bad ones,
really bad
ones.
Some really big brands. They're shocking.
Yeah. But again, they probably bring in these like huge marketing companies and they're all trying to be a bit different and you know, a bit quirky, and sometimes it just backfires like crazy. There's one here from Coke. In the 1980s, the war between Pepsi and Cola was at its peak. Though Coca-Cola was number one, Pepsi had been closing the gap with a brilliant ad campaigns like the Pepsi Challenge. God, I remember that. Even though it was in 1975, I remember the Pepsi Challenge.
Yeah. I
wasn't born though. That must have carried on. To get back in the game, Coca-Cola introduced New Coke on April the 23rd, 1985, which had the smooth and sweeter taste of Diet Coke, but sweetened with corn syrup. Coca-Cola had tested it on 200,000 subjects, and 53% preferred the New Coke recipe over the original. However, it finally went to market. Customers hated it. I didn't know that. So customers actually changed their flavour.
How mad, terrifying,
Wow.
changing something that, I mean, I would say Coca-Cola is not broken. Don't try to fix it.
No, it's doing quite good.
Before we move on,
Wow,
I've got a
there you
funny
go.
one that actually, like, you do have to consider when you do, like, if you work with any bike brands and you're doing social media things, you have to, you can use social media, but it adds a new level of, like, it can go really wrong. And this one looks quite funny. It's, so Walker's Snacks. They're like a crisp company in the UK. They implemented a social media campaign where customers submitted selfies for an opportunity to win tickets to a major sporting event. So obviously, like, this is like I guess it's automated. I don't know what they've done, but like on their webpage, all of the submissions will go up. and I guess they like you can zoom in and you can see each of the submissions, and that's the fun interactive part of it. But people have submitted pictures of dictators, serial killers, and criminals, and the end result of their failure to audit the pictures before publishing them created a PR nightmare for the company. It's literally just like a tapestry of killers and awful people. Shouldn't laugh. It's bad. Poor people.
I do like it though when like it gets hijacked and people make it into something that it's not. I think that's hilarious sometimes.
It's the internet's good for
but
it.
I like when the internet just comes together and like does something really positive from something really shit. A good example actually. Do you remember? I know it's kind of off topic, but do you remember when someone was going to go to Christmas #1? One of Simon Cowell's people. And the world came together in the UK to get Rage Against the Machine to #1 instead.
Yeah, that was good,
so
wasn't it?
I love shit like that.
What's that called? Guerrilla marketing, is it?
Funny.
Is it? I don't know what it's called.
Guerrilla marketing, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Right, so where were we before I started banging on about Gandhi and got it wrong, and it was the Dalai Lama and sucking tongues, and then somehow to advertising blunders.
We were talking about my pack. So yeah, basically I had way too much stuff.
Okay,
Right, way too much. And this is one of the major things in my what did I learn segment of the 4x4x48, which is actually like really prepare. Like don't just think you're preparing, actually prepare. Actually put the bag on before you set off.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. So I packed the bag the night before, moved it off the bed and thought, it's pretty heavy, it'll be okay. Like it is what it is. Anyway, it comes around to 12 o'clock ish, 10 to 12 the next day. And for some reason Emma moved it, and she was like, I can't even move this bag, like it's so heavy. So I was like, oh really? Like, oh, is it that bad? I've just moved it off the bed last night. Okay. So anyway, I picked it up and I was like, oh my god, it is fucking heavy. Like it's heavy. So anyway, 12 o'clock comes around, it's raining like crazy, and I set off on my first 4 miles. Now luckily the first 4 miles, and we're not going to go for every 4 mile because it'd take forever, and I'm going to make a little mini edit film thing which we'll put up on the other channel, which is called More Ride Companions.
Nice.
And we put stuff on there. If you don't subscribe already, please subscribe. So anyway, I've gone outside, I've got my stuff, it's pissing it down, dude. It's raining hard and I'm a bit apprehensive, but I've got everything. Definitely know I've got everything. I put this bag on and I was like, oh my god, it is so heavy. So the first 4 miles went from my house over to where Emma keeps her horse at the stables. So it's like a 4 mile loop back there. And at that point I was like, okay, it's a bit of a cheat start because there's a barn and I can get in the barn and get dry, you know. I wasn't planning on it raining, obviously. I just thought if I get there, like it'll be nice. I can just hang out there for a little bit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, do some jobs for her and stuff around the yard. So anyway, yeah, walked over there, dude. Oh my god, it was a reality check. So I already knew that because I was carrying so much stuff, it wasn't going to be a run.
Yeah.
I thought I'm going to run when I can, but for the most part, this is going to be a speed hike. I'm just going to hike as fast as I can. And the reality kicked in pretty fast. As soon as I'd left the house and I was like half a mile away, I was sweating, dude. Like I was so hot carrying this bag. So I've got up there to the stables. I'm piss wet through. I've, took my coat off and stuff. And they've got this measuring thing for measuring like hay nets and stuff. So I put the bag on there to see how much it weighs. Anyway, doesn't sound a lot, but it was like 23 kilogram, which is pretty heavy to carry 50 miles, basically, is what it ended up being.
23.
So yeah, I was like, fuck, you are?
23.
Yeah, 23 came back around. So yeah, so it's 23 kilogram, which is heavy, dude. So okay, I'll give you a bit of a brief overview. So the worst part of this challenge was the first 3 4-mile blocks. So I've gone from the stable into a local reservoir called Lineker Reservoir, and the reason I put that on the loop is because it's one of my favourite places. And the whole point to do this 48-mile loop was to hit all of my favourite places in the local area, in the Peak District. So I've gone there, dude, and again, I've got in my head, because another major learning thing with this is actually go and recce parts of where you're going, because then you can figure out, okay, in 4 miles, from there, this is where I'm going to be, and this is roughly where I need to find somewhere to stop. But I didn't do it. In my head, I had this like overflow pipe in my head of being able to get underneath, you know, some concrete pipe and like rest a little bit and get out of the elements. But obviously I got there and it's been raining for like a day, so it's just full of water. So I was like, fuck, like I've done my 4 miles, I've got nowhere to go.
Can I ask how much time approximately? Because I imagine you became really, really used to it and like dialed. How much time do you have? If you have to, because every 4 hours you have to start a 4 mile hike, right? So how much time do you tend to have approximately if you're walking, running? I imagine you've done enough of them to really know now.
Yeah. So I usually run 4 miles in around 40 minutes.
Okay.
10-minute mile is like safe, isn't it? 10-minute mile is safe. Like that's like sometimes you're going to be a little bit faster, sometimes you're going to be a little slower, but for the most part it's 40 minutes. Right. But because I was walking, it was taking a bit longer. So I've got my splits up here on Strava.
Oh, nice.
They're the 48 splits. So it was, Strava can be quite good actually sometimes. But so when I started, a mile was taking me 15 minutes, basically. It's like walking. But that was with barely any elevation. But then obviously as the elevation picked up and as we got further in, I think the first mile was actually my fastest. Yeah. And then some of them were 27 minutes. Some of them were 24, 23, etc. So
did you tend to get
again,
2 hour
some of those
breaks?
were like, I was averaging a 2 hour break.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 hour break.
Cool.
Give and take. I think by the time you got the 4 miles or whatever it was done, I was like around 2 hours. Because also what I noticed, and again worth mentioning is, so just go back to where I was. So I'm in this reservoir, it's pissing it down with water. Water. It is water. Yeah. It's rain. It's pissing it down with rain. And I'm like, there's nowhere to stop, dude. There's like no leaves on trees at the moment because it's April. No shelter anywhere. And I'm like, right, I'm going to have to make a decision here. Either I keep moving or I'm just going to stop and freeze because it was so cold and windy. So I was like, right, I'll just keep moving until I find a better place to stop. So I've kept going. I've probably got another mile. Found this barn. Trying to be a good dude, went across to the house opposite and asked if I could go in the barn just to get out of the wind and rain. The guy was like, he's a bit of a twat to be honest. He was like, nah, I don't really want people in there. And I'm like, it's 5:30, it's pissing it down. I just want to go in there for half an hour just to like get dry, just take the edge off a little bit. He was like, nah, I don't want anyone in there.
This guy! Was he the barn?
Like,
do you reckon it was his barn? Or was he just like someone at work?
Yeah, there? Yes. Yeah, it's his barn.
He didn't want you in there, did he?
It's like a beautiful big country house and he didn't want me in there.
Do you reckon he's got in there? Do you reckon he's growing weed in there or what?
I could see in it. There was an old tractor in it, dude, and some hay. That's all it was.
Oh my... you have to just think. Like, can we just stop for a second and think about this guy? What's gone on in his life that's like made him so...
I know. I've actually done the right thing, right? I've knocked on the ring doorbell. I've pressed the ring doorbell. I've asked him. I've asked the woman, the wife probably, or
did
whatever.
you drop the C-bomb?
She's like,
the charity bomb. You drop it or not?
No, I didn't. This is what
you should lead with that.
Should have.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Davi.
Anyway,
and I'm
she's
working
like, I'll get my husband to come out.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, should have. But anyway, I've said like, look, it's really wet out here. I just need to I'm on this big hike, this big walk thing. Can I just nip in the barn just to like get my clothes dry and stuff? Oh, I'll send my husband out. He comes out, puts his barber coat on, walks over, and I said, look, dude, I've been out for a couple of hours. I could really do with just getting some sitting down, just getting dry, just taking the edge off a little bit, getting out the wind. And he just went, nah, I can't see it. I don't want anyone in there. It was just like, oh man.
What funny. I hope they've thought about it now. I hope they've thought about it since. Because he would have gone back in. He would have said to her,
I do.
What did he want? Oh, he wanted to go in the barn. What did you say? I said fuck off. And then he will have gone.
Exactly.
I mean, I can't imagine them sitting down and watching TV and just like, I can just
thinking that was a good thing. Like, oh yeah, fuck that.
I can imagine her listening as he eats his beans on toast, just his mouth noises, just a quiet room, the TV's turned off. She's just thinking, I married the wrong one. He's an arsehole. He wouldn't even let him stay in the barn.
He's such a cunt. Mate, it was tough. So anyway, so I pressed on. I was like, I know that the next bit I'm going to, I know that that's got like big fern trees. Right. So I know that when I get there, there's going to be cover, right? And we're only going to do the first few stages because then, we're going to move on and talk about
No, I'm fascinated by it. It's an adventure, dude. It's cool.
Yeah. So I'm pressing on. So I know that the next step, the next stopping point is basically a couple more miles away, I think. Now, also actually want to add, when I made this loop on Strava, it's turned out that loop isn't as... I don't know how to work this out. Basically, I was always ahead of myself. So where I thought 4 miles was going to be, where it said it was going to be on the map, it actually wasn't there. It was further back. So I was going further than what I thought I was all the time. Right. So throughout this challenge, especially on day 1, I was banking miles without really trying to.
Dude.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
you're doing 4.2,
yeah,
4.3.
so when I got... Yeah, exactly. But also, what it looks like also happened is because, especially in certain places, it was so muddy, I was like zigzagging around to get round.
Got you. Yeah. So it's as the crow flies. If you were a robot, it would be 4 miles.
Yeah, I was adding up all the time. I was like getting further ahead. So anyway, so I've got to the point where I thought... no, hang on. Where was I? No. So I've carried on. I've got to this
fern
wood,
tree bit.
And in the little bit of a distance, these fern trees, but in a little bit of a distance, dude, I can see a yurt. There is a yurt. And it's like a double yurt. So like like they put up for like a wedding
not that
or something.
bloke's yurt,
like
is it?
Wedding yurts. Not that bloke's yurt. So I can see this yurt, dude, in the field over. And I'm walking towards there. I'm walking towards this thing. I've got it all on camera. I'm walking towards... And I'm like, there's a yurt next to that wood where I'm heading to. So that's me. I'm going to press on. It's another 2 miles. I can see it in the distance. I'm pressing on. Anyway, long story short, I got there. Have hopped over a gate to get into the field where the yurt is, right? I've got there. I'm like, even if the yurt isn't open, at least it's got like a little porch at the front of it. I can just get under there and just get out of this wind and rain, right? So I've got to the porch. Obviously, there's a big zip to get into the yurt. I'm like, fucking hell, it's open.
You can't knock on it, can you? So you've unzipped it.
So can't knock on it. There's no one in there. So I'm like, I've unzipped the yurt. I've got in, and it's like, honestly, I feel like I cheated that little bit, to be honest, but I had to do it. So I've gone in, and it's just like a couple of sofas, 2 Chesterfield sofas, a dance floor, and like just tables and chairs and stuff. And yes, it was cold still. Don't get me wrong, it was cold, but at least it was just out of the rain, mate.
That is
like
nice.
Out of the wind.
What a touch.
So it's a nice little, But then this is where, again, it's like more of a head game because, I was a little bit ahead of myself on miles even by that point. And so that was from 8 to 12. And at 12, obviously I had to get up and get out of the year at 12. And at 12, it's still pissing it down, dude. Like it's raining hard. And it was so difficult to be like, no. All I wanted to do, even though I was making up time across this whole challenge, making up miles, this and that, I stuck to the 12.48. 12.48. Didn't vary off that at all because there was times where you could have been like, I could just have another hour here laid in bed and just wait for the rain to stop, but I didn't. Like that was one thing I really wanted to like be honest with myself, be really mindful, not mindful, but like be really accountable to myself. It's like, no, 12 o'clock you go. So I got up 10 to 12. I've got a funny video on my phone waking up on this. Not even waking up, I didn't sleep at all because I'm in someone else's yurt. I kept thinking someone was going to come make me leave and also, there's a lot of elements to this challenge, but one of them is it's a head game. And you're always thinking in your head, I'm like, right, I need to be up in 2 hours. I need to wake up in 2 hours. I can't fall asleep. Why aren't you sleeping? I need to be up in 2 hours though. Okay, now it's an hour and a half.
Oh, so
fuck,
annoying.
You need to get some sleep. And then next thing you know, your alarm's going off and you're like, fuck, I've not slept at all and I'm in a year. It's perfect. I needed to sleep. So, yeah. Anyway, left there at 12, dude. And then this one from 12 till, it'd be like 1:30, 2 a.m. was the hardest part because I walked through this woodland, which is quite well known here, called Shillitoe. And it was just a bog. Absolute bog. And it's dark, obviously. It's 12, it's 1 a.m. in the morning or something. I've got a head torch on, which was pretty shit. And, like, I got so wet. Like, I got at one point I had my foot was up to almost like above my calf muscle. My foot was in the puddle, and I'm just like, this is so. And that there, and hopefully I got that on GoPro, but that there was the only point where I was like, I can't do this. This is too gnarly. Like I can't be this wet and cold for 48 hours. I can't do it. But anyway, pressed on, and yeah, got to a point where I did my first bivvy, like my first night sleeping in the bivvy, and well, my first 2 hours sleeping in the bivvy, and actually managed to get a couple of hours sleep, which was good. And then up again at 4, walked across Baslow Edge and Kerber Edge. Again, if anyone's from the Peak District, you'll know them. A little bit nerve-wracking going across there because there's Highland cattle, and I was terrified of surprising some cows and getting trampled or something. And then, yeah, man, I'm trying to think. I mean, we could talk for hours about it, honestly. I think hopefully the film's going to do the film. You know, the edit's going to do this justice, but it was a fucking ordeal, dude, honestly. Like, it was gnarly. Carrying that pack, which I did, they ditched a little bit of water, and obviously I was eating the food a little bit as I was going, so that came down a tiny bit. But even without the food in, the pack was still pretty heavy. Like, it was still 20 kilogram or so. So, carrying the pack, and just the head game of it was really tough, like especially towards the end where you like, I'm nearly, with any challenge, it's like long distance or whatever, a long ride, a long run, a long walk or whatever, it's always quite, you can almost always see the finish line. I mean, it's a couple of hours away. A marathon, let's say, halfway through a marathon, it sucks, but you're like, right, it's only 2 hours, I only have to do this for another 2 hours and I can get there. With doing this, you get halfway and you're still 24 hours away from finishing. You get a quarter, 3/4 of the way, and you're still 12 hours away. Like, you know, that last night is like so difficult because you're so close, but yet you're so far away in time. In miles, you're not. You're like, oh, I've only got 8 miles to go. Yeah, but that's like 8 hours. It's 8 hours of being cold and wet and miserable. So it's a fucking head game, man, honestly. I slept in a graveyard one night. Well, I didn't sleep at all because I was in a graveyard. It was terrifying. I had a friend come and join me on one of the stages, which was really nice. Big up Jordan for coming and doing that. Was really helpful. This is worth talking about. So at mile 30, well, it should have been 28, but it was actually 30. I met Emma, my girlfriend, my dad and his partner at a pub. Refused to go inside pretty much because I was like, I'm not going indoors, it's all about being outdoors. But I did have that on my sort of like route because I thought at that point I can get some clean clothes. It's, you know, you can get clean clothes, get like a hot meal, and just keep going. Anyway, we're sat outside on the terrace of this pub, and in the distance I can see a bloody Ride Companion t-shirt. It's like, it's cool, all right. It happens more and more these days, right? But still, I was like, that's pretty cool. Anyway, a guy comes up the stairs. And at this point, I was feeling a bit worse for wear. I wasn't the most sociable creature, right? But he looks over at me, and I'm like, "Hey, dude! Like, thank you. I appreciate you wearing the t-shirt." And he wasn't actually from Sheffield. I can't remember where he said he was from, but he was up visiting. And he was like, "Fucking hell, no way! Like, so good to see you. Oh my god, aren't you doing this challenge this weekend?" And it was that little bit of extra,
wicked,
like motivation that I really needed at that point. And he was lovely, dude. We had a bit of a chat, and like he was talking about the podcast, and he was wearing the helmet tee.
Nice.
That's how I spotted it. I was like, I'm sure that's our t-shirt. So he was wearing the helmet tee, and it was really lovely, dude. I wasn't expecting it obviously at all, but I needed it. I think I really needed that bit of a like, fuck, like people give a shit. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely,
like he was like, I know, I've been seeing you, man. Like I've been watching your Instagram, and I can't believe you. Like, I can't believe you're here, and it's really nice. I really, really, really. Lovely.
Wicked.
So that was a bit of a nice pick me up as well. Rather than boring you with the intricacies, shall I just tell you like what I learned and then a little bit of the story of that?
I'd like to hear what you learned. Yeah, I'd like to hear what you learned.
Have you got any more questions?
I do. I've got
maybe there's some listener questions as well.
How long did you actually sleep then? Do you reckon in 48?
Oh, great question. I was thinking about this yesterday. I feel like within that 48 hours, I probably slept a maximum of 3 hours. I reckon.
Oh, really?
Oh,
really?
Yeah, maximum of 3 hours because it's just tough to sleep, dude. Like,
because you know you got to get up.
So you got to get up. So you're always, I don't know if you do this, I certainly do, that if you know you're getting up at a certain time, I don't sleep that well. It's like, if you got to get up early, you're like,
or whatever.
It's only 3 hours, it's only 2 hours, it's only 1 hour. So I did that a lot. And also, I'm not really well, what's the word? I don't do this a lot. Like, I don't sleep outdoors a lot. So just being outdoors and being, in that environment where it's windy and rain, a little bit of rain on the bivvy bag sometimes and stuff like that. Like, I didn't find it easy to fall asleep. So I'm going to say 3 hours.
Okay.
Maybe 4 actually at a push. But yeah, maybe an hour each. Couple of stops. Which at first felt great, but then it definitely catches up. Sleep deprivation is weird because you feel fine. You're like, oh, I'm all right. I remember being at mile 30 odd with my mate Jordan walking. And he's like, you're doing good, aren't you? I'm like, mate, I feel absolutely fine. I'm like, my body's hurting a little bit, but my head's in it. I'm absolutely fine. And then those last 3 through the night just come up and just run and kick you in the nuts so hard that then I was fucked up after that. Yeah. So yeah, that's how long I reckon. Go on. Have you got anything else?
I do. I had something written down that I wanted to. Anyway.
So I'll give you my stats if you want. So it was a distance of 49.18 miles in total.
49. So you over delivered.
Yeah, and I actually cut a corner out as well because I was so far ahead of myself. Yeah. So that felt really nice. I was like, I don't need to go that way. I can just cut a corner out. Because then it'd have been, it'd been like 50. If I'd have done that corner, I reckon it'd have been more like 54, which was tough. Yeah. So 5,645 feet of elevation, 19 hours moving time, average pace 23 minutes a mile, obviously 23 again. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it, dude. As far as stats go, but I tell you what, there's some highs and lows. I mean, I put it on my little Instagram post last night about highs and lows. I had a few tears, I'll be honest. There was one point where I weren't crying because I was upset or anything. It teared me up because I was so fucking tired.
Really, yeah.
Like, I woke up and I was just like, I just wanted it over. I just really wanted it to be over.
Yeah, it's awful, isn't it? Well, all right. Let's hear what are your takeaways from it then? I'm interested to see what you. Yeah, and when did you write these as well?
So I wrote them this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, this morning. I wrote them this morning. So yesterday was a bit of a chill day, to be honest. Obviously, I got back about 9:15, something like that, because I had got a few miles in the bank. So my last, what should have been 4 miles, I only needed to do 2. So I got home a little bit earlier. So yeah, that was a good. Actually, that was a really nice little bit of planning for me. So what I did on the last 6-7 miles were a loop. So last year when I did the off-road version, it was a loop of that. So I knew it's about 3 miles because it's half a mile there, half a mile back from my house. So I knew it's 3 miles. So the last 6 miles was 2 loops of that thing. And what that allowed me to do was get there, put everything down, like my bivvy and everything, make all my shit, blah, 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 get a bit of rest, get up for the 4 a.m. one, and not have to take my bag round with me. So I just did another loop of that.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was actually, it felt amazing just to get around and just not have to carry a 20 kilogram pack. Was fucking, it was so good. So yeah, and then to get home, I basically got all my shit in the morning, 8 o'clock, and then walked home, and that was the final 2 miles.
Nice.
3 miles or something. So, what did I learn after doing the outdoor 4x4x48? These are pretty basic, but hopefully there's going to be something in here for people. Number 1, your mind will get you through. Like, I was thinking about this as well, right? So, I've watched a little bit of the footage back that I've got on my phone. I was switching between GoPro and phone and to film things. And there's points in there where you see yourself doing something and you can't quite believe it's you. And I don't want to sound like some sort of like, I don't know, absolute animal or weapon or whatever, but when you've got to do something, your mind will just click into gear and it just does it. And you're not, if you ask me now to go and do that again, I'd be like, I'm not really into it. But I know that if you put me in that situation, you're going to get it done. It's going to happen. So Your mind will get you through. Your mind will get over that little bit of a, fuck, I don't want to get up at 4 a.m. and walk 4 miles in the rain. But you'll get through it. Number 2. This is a bit cringe, but I'm going to say it anyway. Because I think this will relate. So there's a dog, D-A-W-G, dog, in there somewhere. You just have to find it. And I think that's, again, thinking back, you're in this situation, you're wet, cold, miserable, it's 4 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning, whatever, you're walking, but something clicks in. I don't know if you've had this in your life, I'm sure you have. Probably when you're hitting a big feature or something, whatever it could be. Something clicks into gear and you're not thinking about anything else other than getting through that thing. And that's fucking nuts that your mind can do that. Like, and I think it's in there, man. Like, it's in there, and I think it's important to do stuff every now and again that's going to help you find it and just be like, actually, I didn't think I could do this, but fucking hell, like, I went out and did it. And I think I've been in a little bit of disbelief from this. Again, not trying to sound like some sort of military savage or anything like that, or like an uncommon person or anything special, because I'm not. But if you set your mind to something, you'll find the motivation and you'll get it done. Anyone can do that. Anyone can do this. I'm not special at all. I did no training. I just did it. Just set your mind to it and just do it. So that's one thing that I think is really important. I also put down, if you stay in the game, you will reach the goal, which is also really true. This is one of those challenges where you've just got to stay in it. You can't tap out. You can't hurry it up. Even if you sprinted, you still got to wait 3 hours, 3.5 hours. So you just got to stay in the game. I also put, money doesn't buy all experiences, and it doesn't. Yes, I bought a lot of kit. The actual
that was a good moment. That was. Yes, I bought that. That was like a Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, I bought a lot of kit.
I'm imagining just a room full of just fucking salopettes and carabiners.
Yeah, army rations and stuff. Yeah, I bought a lot of kit. I did buy a lot of kit. I spent a bit of money, but ultimately now I have that. Now I have this kit.
You can do it again.
Like, that experience cost nothing, and I learned things about myself. I thought about things, and it didn't cost a single penny. I walked from my front door out into nature. It was amazing. So money can't buy that. What else have I got? The body can go further than you think. Again, really, really, there was times I remember the worst bit was probably the last night. So Sunday morning, 4 a.m. I could barely stand up on my feet. My feet have swelled up real big. Like, they've got massive. They barely fit inside my shoes. And I could barely walk, doddering around, trying to get up this little bit of a climb to get out of where I'd set up my sleeping stuff. And I'm thinking, fucking hell. But your body figures it out. They loosen up. You get going. Your body can go so much further than what you think. I put, good kit does make a difference. And it does. Without all that kit, without the help of G-Man, it made it so much more bearable. Plan before moving, also quite important. I think that's a great analogy for life. Have a real think about it. In hindsight, dude, especially some of the bits which were further away from home, like 20 odd miles away, 30 miles away, I didn't know them at all. So I was getting there and just being like, fuck, where do I sleep? Where do I sit? How do I get out of the rain? How do I get out of the wind? How do I get out of the sun even on the second day? But I didn't know where I was. So I think that's quite important. I think in hindsight, I'd have done more of that. I'd have just ridden out there or even driven out there and gone for a walk and just been like, right, where am I? Where am I going to go? I spent quite a lot of time looking at my phone because I was trying to figure out where my route was going because I didn't know it. So there was a lot of that as well. So in hindsight, I'd have done that. I did get lost once as well, which was pretty shit because it was dark and you don't want to be getting lost in the dark. It was really bad. I also wrote, be bored and listen to your thoughts more, because we're so, God, I sound like a motivational guy here, but we're so consumed by technology and always never being bored. One thing I really wanted to do with this challenge that I really made a point of, I didn't take headphones and I kept my phone in black and white. I didn't even open a podcast app. I did open Instagram a couple of times just to reply to a few people, but I really wanted to, whenever I had those breaks, to just sit and just wait and just listen and think. And that was fucking amazing to do. We don't do that enough in culture. Right, yeah. So even when you're tired, it's just so nice. Only two more. you can't rush the process. Again, same as in life, you can't rush it. You just got to stay in it and just keep going. And again, with this challenge, it's like, it's a great analogy for life, because it's like, you can't rush it. You are going to start at 12, 4 and 8. That's what it is. Time is what it is. It just takes as long as it takes. So, and I'm really bad at like thinking like, you know, you set off and you're like, right, I've only got to do 44 more miles. And you just like, you can't think like that. You just got to not think like that. You're a great guy for this, because you live like that a lot, right? Like, that is literally, I think, your way of thinking about life, is you're in the moment, you don't think too far ahead.
Like, I'm never late.
And I think doing something like
I can't be late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But like, for me, this is a great, yeah, exactly. This is a great thing for me, because I do live like in the future a lot, and that's where anxiety comes from. I'm always thinking like, right, okay, I need to do this, or that needs to happen to get to this point, or whatever. So to just be in that process and just not rush is just really nice.
I can see that. Yeah.
And the last thing I wrote down was, you can't sleep in a cemetery, because it turns out you can't. No matter how tired you are, you can't sleep in a cemetery. You just can't. Every noise, I'm just like,
where did you go in the cemetery? Were you in like a crypt, or you just go on a bench, or what'd you do?
I found a bench.
That's miserable, dude.
A bench, yeah.
At least there's not. Yeah, I guess
know.
at least there's not like piss there and like. You know what I mean?
True, it's probably going to be quite clean at a cemetery, but
we couldn't find anywhere else.
Didn't sleep much in the
cemetery. Did you see?
No, this is where it was getting a bit more like closer to where I live. So like going through a village. So it's like trying to find somewhere to sleep rough in a village is pretty tough. So, okay, I think we should move on, because I've really gone really deep in this challenge. But
how much do you raise?
The most important
okay, so
part.
Sorry.
Exactly.
Is that what you were about to bring up?
No. The most important part. Yeah, because that is ultimately, again, you know, you talk about motivations for doing this. Like, it really helped having this, to be honest. It really fucking did. So, it's raised £1,040 plus gift aid. So we're on.
That's very cool. Well done, dude. And everyone's clapping. That's listening as well, I think.
Basically, sure. It's £1,300 with gift aid.
Wicked.
So I felt
that's
amazing,
brilliant.
mate, honestly.
Good on
and
you.
having that, and like seeing some of the comments that came through on the Just Giving page. I dare say to anyone who's considering doing something, attach a charity to it, because it just makes you go that little bit harder and that little bit further. And also, it really put all this in perspective. You know, the whole reason that I did it for Pathways, which is a homeless charity, was to, you know, I was going out and being homeless for a couple of days, right? Like, and trying to find places to sleep and stuff. So, yeah, man, big up to anyone who's not big up, tough in it, but like, if you're in that situation, it's pretty fucking rough. So, yeah, I'm not going to give the money to them yet. We're going to get the film up first. That's going to come out on Thursday night on our More Ride Companion channel. I'll have it done by then. And then once that's been out for a week, I'll press go on the charity, and then we'll donate some money. Hopefully by that point, it's got a little bit further. So if you do respect what I've done and you haven't donated, it would be much appreciated if you could just put a £5 in or something like that. It's going to really help, like, especially after speaking to them at that charity. That's going to pay for a family to live in a hotel for 2 months or something.
Brilliant.
So it feels really fucking nice to do that, and I'm extremely proud of it. Believe it, and I'm not very good at giving myself props, but I am proud of that. Like, I'm proud that I got through it. I'm proud that I did it. I'm proud that we got the companionship, and the whole thing has just been tough but really rewarding in a very strange way.
Mate, good on you. Big round of applause. Well done.
There we go.
That's brilliant. Yeah, you've really fully mugged me off now, haven't you? Because I've literally just learnt El Banco Este Cerrado.
How many words
you know
have
what
you
I mean?
learned since?
Mi amigo. ¿Qué tal? We're trying now. We're trying.
We're trying.
I'm sticking to my end of the deal, but
yeah.
it's just a bit of a shitty end,
Good.
isn't it?
Good. You know what's funny as well? I've got to add this, because it is funny. It is not funny, but every year I've done that challenge, like I said at the start, I've had an idea of what to do for next year, and it came to me on the last fucking lap.
What are you gonna do?
And I was like, I don't want to commit to it, because it's like way gnarlier than anything. Like,
you're gonna put Lego bricks up your bum.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna. I've got something in my head that, it might happen next year.
Really?
So there we go.
Cartwheels.
Yeah.
No, not cartwheel.
Yeah.
You've got an accordion in between your legs. Backwards.
Wait, can you do it all backwards? Just get some mirrors and just like walk backwards.
Naked and shrieking.
Naked. Yeah,
you got to do 4 hours of naked shriek running.
So yeah, I've got a little idea for next year, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna have a few days off. That's for sure of training.
Yeah, let's not write any more checks.
I feel good though, man. Like weird.
Good on you.
In fact, we're gonna go to an ad break here because one thing that has been really, really helping, genuinely, is my Compex Fix 2.0.
Let's go straight
so we're
to
gonna
it.
go to a Compex ad because I want to talk from the
Let's
heart about this. Okay.
Oh, dude, I can't believe you've just done 40, not 48, 49 miles. You must, mate, you must just be like beat up. All your muscles must hurt. You must. What do you do? How do you recover from something like that?
Well, mate, not just that challenge, actually. That's a big one, but also life in general. Sometimes you just feel beat up, right? Like your body feels beat up, whether you're working out, riding, running, jet skiing, I don't know, riding underneath a hot air balloon, whatever you're doing. Dude, I honestly couldn't get by in life without this. This is the Compex Fix 2.0 massage gun.
What?
And ever since we got sent these, it's been a lifesaver for me, man. I genuinely, speaking from the heart here, I use it almost every single day. And I've been using it. It's been like flat out. It's been on the limiter for the last few hours in particular, especially today. So yeah, you're right. Great for after a big challenge, but also great in general just to keep everything moving. There's a few little points I like to hit on this, right?
I'd love to hear.
Amazing for quads. You can just lay on the bed. Oh, I just get it, and I'm just massaging my quads up and down. I've been watching YouTube videos about how to use them properly and all sorts of stuff. I love getting in here. This little bit here, I get a lot of tension just there in my neck. I just get it in there. I don't know if you should do it, but I do like using it on my face as well. You hover it just over your skin and just let it pound that face. It feels amazing. You get underneath here, get away that double chin. Get it under there. It's so good, man. And I like to also go over the back like that. That's my angle. I just do that. I get all my shoulder blades, traps. Sometimes you come round that side, do it there in your lat. Dude, honestly, I use this thing so much.
So is it like is this like just sort of like a cheap kind of like a knockoff massage gun? Like, is this used by isn't used by professionals, is it?
No, the Compex is the go-to for professionals, like physiotherapists, sports massage people. I mean, if you want the best, I mean, there's some cheap imitations of these, and I've had a few conversations where I've said, "Oh yeah, I've got my Fix 2.0 Compex gun," and you know, I've got a friend actually recently was like, "Oh yeah, I got one of those off Amazon. It was like 40 quid," and I'm like, "Mate, there's levels to the game.
Yeah,
it's not. We're not even in the conversation. It's like saying you've entered a downhill race on a Carrera. You know, it's a different thing. We're not even. Yeah. So basically, no, it's not cheap, but you get what you pay for, dude. You're getting the best possible. You're getting ergonomic design, right? You're getting a quiet motor.
Yeah.
You're getting 5 adjustable speeds. You're getting a adjustable head so you can get it in the right position. You're getting a rechargeable battery. You're getting so much stuff, and also, importantly, 5 tips for it, right? So they got a little cone-shaped one. They got a hard ball, soft ball. Mate, this thing's amazing. It's also, I've just noticed on the website, on compex.com, it's on offer. It's currently got 20% off it, right? Didn't know that until this very second.
20% is good.
You get a Compex. Yeah, plus you're going to get another 20%.
What?
If you use our discount code.
What is the discount code? Give it to me. I'm going to go on there and get one right now.
Mate, let me give it to you. So, head to compex.com, enter the code The Ride Companion. What is it?
The Ride Companion.
All in capitals. It's going to get you 20% off the store. Unfortunately, it's only available to UK customers right now. We're working on it. Hopefully, we're going to have some international stuff going on pretty soon. But yeah, they also do tons of other stuff, dude, from the electro stimulators. You got that rollable ball, which we got, which is really good. You got mats, all sorts of stuff, man. They got so much cool stuff on there, and you get 20% off all of it with code The Ride Companion. So, what are you waiting for?
Get out there, get typing in the code. I've got to stop. You know, in these adverts, I've got to stop pretending I don't know. I do know, and I really like Compex.
I know.
Thanks, Compex.
Yeah, it's true. Thanks, Compex.
And we're back in.
Great ad read, spoken from the heart.
Brilliant. Hey, dude, I want to go to this segment. This is going to be... We've actually been recording for quite a while now, but people have to listen for that long before they get to any form of bike news. But I feel like we've got some quite cool things going on at the minute. And so I think we're going to do some sort of like bike-related news. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think we get away from being an adventure podcast for at least a few months. 6 months.
I think so.
8 months,
I think so.
10.
I think you're right. Right, the first one on my list. I've got a list here. The first one on my list is Kriss Kyle, Don't Look Down. Obviously, we went to the premiere. I thought it's a big one, isn't it? It's a carbon fibre bowl hanging from a... to someone who's listening to this podcast and maybe hasn't seen any of the internet, maybe they live in like some sort of like burrow in the sand and they only have internet connection. And obviously, they chose the right thing to listen to, which is the companionship.
Obviously,
because you get all the up-to-date news. It's a carbon fibre bowl with Kriss Kyle riding in it, suspended underneath a hot air balloon.
Sounds so ridiculous, and it is. Yeah, obviously, we got the opportunity to go to the premiere again at Red Bull in Milton Keynes at their Formula One facility. It's actually called MK7, where they had the premiere, and dude, it was a great time, wasn't it? Like, it's cool. We hung out before.
Time,
we had John O'Jones and his mate Tom joined us, which was lovely. Went for some food. Had some.
We had some Nando's, dude.
What else did we do? Had some Nando's. We had some Tim Hortons.
Looked at the bowl.
Coffee. Went Nando's.
So my takeaways from it were that if you make a bowl out of wood and it weighs 10.5 tons, if you give it to a Formula One team, that's right, a Formula One car racing team, then they can make it weigh 2.5 tons. That's my takeaway.
So crazy.
What a bizarre thing.
You know, one thing that was never discussed. We watched the premiere. We looked at the bowl. We had the opportunity to look at the bowl. It was physically there. It took them 2 days, was it, to build it up and break it down?
Yeah.
We watched the film. We watched actually. I hope they put the film out that we watched, because
I hope they do.
I've not been to that many premieres, especially like that. But I was a little bit apprehensive of like, well, it's going to be like a 3-minute edit. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, why is there 200 people here for this 3-minute edit? But we actually watched one which was, what would you say, 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes long.
Was it that long? I mean, it flew by because it was interesting, and because
maybe
basically
30 minutes.
because it covered all of the ups and downs of the project, and obviously, like, the reality is, it's a fucking carbon fibre bowl hung underneath a hot air balloon. Of course, it's going to be hard to ride. It's impossible. The whole thing's moving the whole time. It's going to be really difficult. But I just love the fact that it's that they wanted to make a crazy idea and they did it. And yeah, it costs loads of money and it's completely ridiculous, but it's rad, isn't it? It's super cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, one thing that was never discussed, so we watched the film, they did a Q&A after it, we were talking to people who work at Red Bull, but what do you think that thing cost? Like, there was no discussion about cost?
I think it's best that we don't even think
Do you know?
I know approximately, but it's just too much, isn't it? Because also, when you get into getting Formula One teams to develop your dangling skate park, I think you get into a realm of like sort of cost being a bit approximate and wild. It's like
true. It doesn't really matter either, does it, to him?
No,
like, it's not even
put an O on it. Yeah, we could put that O on it, or let's take it off. Actually, depends. I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I was sat there and I had this sort of like realization that actually it is like a Black Mirror episode. It's completely insane that there's this fizzy drink company that has like a media company that has a Formula One brummy car racing company that is so big that it dwarfs any biking company, and yet we're there and they've made a ramp for a BMXer. Like, it's just, and it's all based around a helmet.
So
it's all absolutely mad.
Yeah, it's so true.
It is a Black Mirror episode.
For anyone who hasn't, I don't know if you can go there, but visiting MK7 and that facility it's just mind blowing. Like, it isn't, you're stepping into another world of where money isn't even a thing, and like everything's just branded and sick, and just like, it is cool, man. Like, I've got so much respect. I know recently we've probably hated on energy drink companies a little bit, but like you said, what they do and the way that they can put an edit like that through that machine of, okay, they can bring in the Formula One team, they can bring the media house in, it's just like, it's getting the best people to make all of it. Even the balloon was made by like the best people who make the balloon. It's the biggest balloon ever built in the UK. Like the whole thing is just almost hard to put into perspective, which is why I hope they released that longer edit, because that really showed you a bit more of the journey of building the balloon and building the skate park out of wood a few times, and all that sort of stuff was, I'd say, way better than the actual, okay, this is kind of crazy, but like way better than the actual edit that's out to me, because I enjoyed learning more about
the story,
the process.
I'm
tribulations.
completely with you. Yeah, I'm completely with you. How's this for a clip, right? I've got a good one. So we've just watched Kriss Kyle's dog walk, his imagination going to the furthest realms. He's come up with this crazy idea, and then he's made it happen. What would be your crazy idea that you would want your title sponsor to make happen? If money was no issue, if you were given a clean slate, if you had to make a video, you wanted to take on this project and you wanted to do it, I would love to hear yours and anyone listening's project. What would it be?
Okay, so it's dream project. We're thinking up dream projects, right? Dream projects. Okay. Wow, this is great,
at the
dude.
end, when you come up with it, we promise that we will not make it happen.
I was going to sound like, oh no, where's this going? I know what happens with this podcast sometimes. Next thing you know, we're there doing it, stood on top of Everest with a downhill bike. Okay, wow, this has come out of nowhere, man. But okay,
yeah, what would yours be? Even if it's like what it's related to, like whether you just would want to. It's an interesting thought, isn't it? You don't have to. I don't think you have to answer now. We'll try and come up with something. I'm going to come up with a better one for next week. Promise you. And let's do the same. So let's throw something out there now. I've got a come up.
Okay, yours will be way better than mine. Mine's will be.
I don't know. I just thought of it.
Okay, so mine's pretty. So I want to take some inspiration. No, wait. I'm going to take some inspiration from Tyler Berriman's Dream Build project. Vision. I can't remember what it was called. What was it called? Tyler Berriman one. With the I can't remember what it's called. Tyler Berriman one anyway, where you could.
Let's call it Tyler Berriman's Dream Track. Yeah,
something like that. So he took basically built a skate park for dirt bikes. So I do that. That's going to be at the top, right? And then it's literally we're going to do like a change of bike. So we're going to ride a dirt bike. We're going to hit some jumps, and I'm taking skill out of this. This is just like my dream thing, right? Skill's not even a thing. It doesn't matter. You can't hit the jumps. Zero skill to do any of that. But I'm going to have like a wall ride on a moto. Boom, wall ride, massive whip. Yeah. It's going to land stoppy like Axel Hodges, and then I'm going to hop over the handlebars, right? Yeah. Straight onto a downhill bike. And then just straight into some fucking cool downhill stuff, like Darkfest style jumps, which we need to talk about. Yeah. Just doing like big stuff, like this, and it's all filmed on like drones and a helicopter, and there's a Chinook, and there's all this sort of cool stuff.
A lot of different,
and then it basically ends
things,
in a really cool house. Just ends in this like beautiful house at the bottom of the hill, dirt bike track, downhill, beautiful house, chill, whiskey, hanging out. That's my.
And then you do a podcast. Is that the end of the edit? It turns into a podcast.
Oh, it ends in the studio, dude.
Yeah.
Boom! Ends in the studio. We drop in, sit on the chair.
I like that. Yeah. And then it goes from short form content to long form, and that's what you're passionate about. Yeah,
that's
like
nice.
It.
Yeah, it is.
Mine.
Okay. What's yours? Please be better.
I'm not sure if mine's better. I want to do world's first. I want to do the world's first front flip off a building on a horse. And it's just about me and my horse. We've got the foam pit. I'm trying to learn the fronties. We're trying to train the horse. I've got different techniques, like different electric probes. So as I reach the end...
you're probing it. Yeah, so it's torture as well. We're probing it.
I've got my... Yeah. That is...
You know what you could have? You could have it like a... You could have it so...
Go on,
when you get to the end of the ramp to go off and do the flip...
Yeah.
The front of the ramp just disappears, so its legs just like break, and then you just go over, and then you've done it.
I want the horse to consent into the front flip because it's going to be quite a high building. So I want the horse to be in it with me. So
Do you want a base jump off the horse?
No, it's not. It's not that high. It's going to be like a 2-story building. But what I want I want us to, because a big part of the whole build-up would be me it'd be me learning the horse, me and the horse's relationship evolving, dude. And like, I'm learning this horse and I'm like, we're working out how we can communicate the front flip idea to the horse. And sure, there's going to have to be some sort of like, you could call it a baptism of fire. The horse is going to have to be propelled into a front flip for it to understand what we're trying to achieve, for us to communicate what the goal is. And then
Would you use a trampoline for that, maybe? Some sort of like trampoline?
I was thinking just probes or something. Like, we need to work out how to make it buck on the front legs at the wrong time, and the kick. So it's almost like endoing and kicking, and then that puts it into the front flip, and we've got to work out how to make it endo and kick at the same time. And then I'm just tucked in there with my Red Bull helmet on. I'm just tucked in there on the...
I don't know if it's a Red Bull project, but yeah.
Maybe not a Red Bull project. What could it be? We'll work it out.
Camel cigarettes?
We'll work it out.
I don't know.
I quite like the idea of Breitling, but I will smoke a cigarette if it means that I can get this front flip done. And then... and then the landing, it's actually going to be it's actually going to be on live TV as well. So the landing is going to be on live TV.
Okay.
So the first time we've taken it actually to the
Maybe have a Paddy Power helmet, something like that.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean
think that's the
people
end
are
of
going to be
that.
lining up to help you do that. You know, sponsorship isn't going to be hard to find for that, for the world's first.
I'm going to think of I want to think of a better, more serious one. Let's think.
Well, you're not going to think of a more ridiculous one, are you? That'd be difficult. Although maybe not for you. I think you could probably think of something more ridiculous, to be honest, which is quite scary.
Yeah, I could do this for days. I fucking love this stuff. I was just imagining like one of the Red Bull high dives, except I'm on a dolphin. So they get the dolphin up there, and loads of people with little water sprayers spraying it, lubing up the blowhole, whatever it is, just so it doesn't dry up in the sun. And then I'm on the back of it again with my Red Bull helmet on, and then I just
like a catapult, like you pull it back. You pull it back on a bungee, and then you just fucking fire it off like
torpedo into the. Yeah, right. Let's move on. This is I think I'm tired. Next up in the bike news. Yeah, I bet you are. I've been doing Duolingo.
It's like a different reality. It's like, none of this makes sense. Front flipping horses, dolphins, and dream tracks and all that shit.
I love nonsense. Darkfest has a 110-foot jump, and it's been jumped, and Tom Eisted jumped it first, and some of the footage is unbelievable. Round of applause for Tom Eisted with big.
Real. It's unreal. Hey, here's an idea. Here's a question. Tom Eisted famously not got a bike sponsor at the moment. Does going to an event like that make you do you think, okay, I know Tom Eisted, he's the man, but does he think, I'm going to put myself on the map out here? Like, I want people to know they should be fucking supporting me.
From watching him ride, I think he always thinks that.
I do.
Because he everything he's done has been full on, hasn't it? It's not like it surprises me that he's the first to hit it. So
no,
unreal
scenes out there, man. I think there's some onboard footage of Chaos and Cade. I don't know if you've seen that little Instagram reel that's floating around, which just looks like video game shit, dude, of them riding that course. Oh my days, it looks so good. You're way more versed in going to these sort of events and being around this sort of stuff. Is it on your radar? Would you like to be out there giving it a shot, or?
The course looks dialed. I don't personally feel the need to do it. I don't really know.
Would, right? Like you would.
Yeah, but I mean,
if out there,
it's quite difficult to like. Well, I've been out there. I've been out there at the same time as Darkfest's been on, and I didn't feel.
Oh right,
it's just really difficult. If you've not got, it sounds like I'm making excuses, but if you don't have a downhill bike, who do you follow? Because you just follow I would just follow someone in. I feel like I trust loads of people out there, and I'd follow them in. But if you don't have like a downhill bike, I feel like you can't. I've always struggled with following people in on a smaller travel bike, because I've ridden what was that fest jump years ago, and it was just impossible to follow Brennan. If I'd followed him in, I would have cleared the entire landing. Like, you have to go slower on a short travel bike. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's all pingy.
Cool
and
concept. The whole
out.
thing's great to watch. Like, is it? I can't. Is it a competition as such, or is it more of like a rider judge thing that they do? It's more of a
rider judge. Yeah.
hangout in it. It's more of a
big time. Yeah.
It's like a content creation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But it's so cool watching it now compared to the start of it, because the course is so dialed and they've got so good at building massive jumps. Let's get Sam on when he's back, and we can do a Darkfest recap, because it'd be really cool. I'd love to hear. He's got all the numbers down in his in studio. Exactly, perfect. Because he's got all the numbers for the jumps, and it'd be great to hear. Yeah, we've done it before, but it'd be cool to do it again, because I feel like it's more dialed each and every year, and this one's good.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to do. Yeah, mate, this content that's coming out of that is amazing. It's awesome.
And we're on day one
out there.
As we record this, we're on day one. We've got a cliffhanger backflip, and everyone's hitting the 110. I think Johnny Salido, BMV, obviously Tom Eisted, and Sam and Clemens have all hit the 110.
The 110. So, and it looks like it's down it's down one of the run-ins, but then it almost goes off to the left and then comes onto the same landing as one of the shorter jumps. Is that
the 90-footer? Right, yeah, it comes
90-footer.
The 90-footer, which was previously like the biggest one, wasn't it?
I wonder what it feels like, man, to hit a 110-foot jump on a bike. I bet that's quite a pretty wild feeling.
Quite a lot. I wonder if we're going to see, like, so far, every hit I've seen looks like a first hit. Like, it looks like they're literally parachuting out of and you get like, it looks like you're a long way up and you don't feel comfortable at all. I wonder if we're going to get a flip or, I don't know. By the time this is out, we'll know. So, yeah.
Wow. Cool event. There we go. Amazing work that Sam's doing out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really cool. Loving watching it and trying to keep a track of it.
Okay, next point in the bike news. I've got more, dude. We've got the Oceania, I think it's called the Oceania Champs. Sam Hill, I don't really quite know what's happened, but Sam Hill has won it and is also... It just got me so hyped for Sam racing downhill next year. Something's happened. Richie Rude got a faster time but didn't win it. I don't understand what's gone on here. Yeah, let's do some research, actually. I don't quite understand how it works, but...
Okay, so I can see some of that. I can see
Oceania Continental Championships. Oh, is it because he's not
from
Oceania?
Richie Rude. So I'm just trying to have a quick flick through on Pink Bike. Or probably people just arguing about racism or transphobia or some shit in comments, but it'd be something. Someone being a dick. So it does say Richie actually won. Oh, okay. Fucking hell, God knows. Mate, I guess it's because he's not...
Right, I've found a comment that's on here. So, yeah, it's literally just because it's the Australian champs, basically, and Rude is an American, so although he was fastest, he can't be Australian champ.
By 4 seconds as well.
Won by a bit. But I'm still hyped for Samuel coming back, and I thought it was newsworthy because obviously...
100%, mate.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, dude. He's now had a full WS career.
And Samuel's back racing World Cup downhill, is that correct?
Yeah, apparently so, yeah.
Apparently he's back racing World Cup downhill.
Yeah.
Fucking oath, man. That's going to be sick. I'm excited to see that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's gonna be good. Where do you think, like, if you could put a position on it, where does Sam Hill finish? Comments, folks, comments. Where does Sam Hill finish in the first round?
No, I would not know. I'm hyped for it, though. I mean, it doesn't matter either way. I'm just hyped for him to be racing, but just the fact that there's a chance he's there and he could Sam Hill it is so exciting, isn't it?
It's so sick. Yeah, imagine that. He comes out and like podiums or something.
Imagine. Can we go on straight on to listener questions?
Yes, let's do that.
Should we do it? Before we do it,
mate.
I'm going to do...
Let's do it. Yeah.
before we do it, I'm gonna do an advert. I'm gonna be at the cycle show this weekend, and I'm gonna be on stage.
Is that this weekend? Is it?
It is this weekend. I think I'm there on Sunday, but I wanted to offer to our
What are you
companionship
doing
members
on stage?
a dance.
Dancing?
I'm doing dancing. Yeah, I wanted to offer 20% off the tickets if you're around London. Want to go to Ali Pally? Check out all things new in the bike world. Use the code Olly20 and it will get you 20% off your cycle show tickets. So
Nice.
Yeah, we'll put that in because it's a nice little discount for our companionship
Commission
members.
for you. Discount. Yeah, discount.
Zero commission for me, may I add. Zero. That's a good point, actually. Why am I doing it? Pay the.
Because you're
I tell
going to
you what,
meet some
pay the full
companionship.
price. I don't get anything from this. You better. Bad business, dude. Bad business.
Mate,
Right.
you're on the poster as well, aren't you? The launch poster. I seen it.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Lad. You're everywhere. Gets everywhere. This guy.
He gets
All right.
everywhere, doesn't he?
So that's this weekend coming, is it?
It is indeed.
Okay, we'll see. I might head down. You never know.
I'm currently trying to find the listener questions, but it's deleted off the story.
Oh, you can just go into notifications and then find someone that's submitted one, and it's there. Click on it, and it'll give you them all.
Oh, thank goodness for you. These are the problems I have with. Woo.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to start?
Yeah. I'll just choose. What are we doing? Choosing, or are we just going through? Choose.
Let's choose. Well, I've
Lou
got one from.
L-
Yeah, the same one.
on.
Yeah.
No,
go
go on.
on.
All right. You do it. You do it, man. You do
no,
it. Lucky
you
first.
do
You
it.
do it.
Oh, yeah, I'll do it.
You do it. Who's got? I'll do it. Lou Ellsmore. Are you guys going to Fort William this year?
I would absolutely love to. I don't know what date it is. I would actually really love to. It's World Champs. It's super exciting. We should.
Yes.
Only time will tell.
The sleeper train was a great idea.
Oh,
Would love to
yeah.
make that happen. So let's just,
would be good.
you know, like with anything, we'll keep you guys posted, and if it happens, it happens. And
Yep.
you know, if we
Perfect.
can make some cool content out of going and hanging out on the sleeper train with some listeners and having a few whiskies on the way up there, why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why not? We'll see. We can make something happen, I'm sure. We'll get
Love
t-shirts
to.
like we're on a stag do as well.
From the sleeper train. I mean, the sleeper train would end up a piss up, wouldn't it? It would. I don't even drink it. It would end up a piss up. Right, the next
Let's
question
see,
is
I'm
from
actually
Lewis
keen.
Craig.
God.
And he says, what can the MTB community do to improve biosecurity and save our riding spots? I don't know what biosecurity is. I guess that's like not ruining the woods.
Yeah. I think it is. I think
honestly, I think I'm not a believer in. God, what this is like a controversial thing to say, but there's a lot of these videos about how we need to make everything legal and this and that. Just keep your spots quiet. Just shut up. Don't post it. Don't tell everyone where everything is. That's how we keep. That's how we actually. That's how it will work. I don't believe it can be legal everywhere. I mean, 99% of the riding I do is completely illegal. I shouldn't be saying it on here, but
Technically. But
Technically
I think most
illegal,
people,
yeah.
man. Most people. who
100%, dude,
ride on
100%.
illegal
So
stuff, yeah.
if we're just talking about the legal trails, you'd have nothing, and you don't want to ride on just all-weather surfaces provided by the council. That's the reality of it. So that's my thoughts. Just zip it. Kooks tell kooks, so don't tell kooks.
Yeah.
That's mine.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm going to leave it at that. It's great. But obviously pick up your shit. It's important. Like, don't leave a litter.
Shit, dude.
Look
Don't bring it
after
out there,
just
dude.
Fucking, don't bring it out there. Next one. What we got? We got.
I've got a good one.
What we got?
Rick B.
Sound Warper. Go on then. You do that one.
Dude, I'm sorry. I tell you
fucking
what, the delay is awful. I don't
God, why do
understand
people-
it either.
I'm surprised people listen to this shit. I really am, because it's like it must be
never
the
had a
most
delay before,
disjointed,
did we?
weirdest thing to
Yeah.
listen to. Like, people will be like, "Are these people even on the same call?" Like, this makes no sense.
It's unbelievable.
It's funny because when we actually hang out now, we talk like this. We like wait for each other to speak, and then we like
And then
look
talk at the same
each
time.
other,
And then stop. And then talk at the same time. And then stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And then go, no, you go.
Oh, mate, it's so annoying. Sorry about it, everyone. We're working on it. Right, Rick B, you wake up in the morning and wheels have been banned globally. What are you going to do?
Ooh.
It's such a good question.
Wheels have been banned globally.
Imagine how
Wow,
that would
what are you
affect
gonna
you.
do?
It'd be awful.
They're not going to drive anywhere.
No. I'd start a shoe brand.
Mate, so many. Nice.
And I'd franchise it so it can move
I'd
to
invest
different
in,
towns.
I'd invest in tracks. I'd invest in like track companies, like they make the tracks for tractors and stuff, like conveyor belt stuff. And then I'd get straight to work on building a conveyor belt bike.
Nice.
That just,
I think
like,
the only way
glides
around
along.
it. Yeah, I think the only way around it might be helicopters, because they don't need. What other boats? Helicopters, jet skis.
Yeah, conveyor belt would need a wheel, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Jet ski then. Jet ski racing. We're going jet ski racing. Simple as. Or snow sled. Ooh,
It's Waterworld. It's turning into Waterworld. Do you remember that movie?
No.
That was the most expensive movie ever, and it was Kevin Costner, and it was. I think if you watched it now, it would have aged so harsh. They spent so much money on it. It's just literally him on jet skis. It's like Mad Max in the ocean, yeah. Waterworld. You have to check it out.
I've not seen it.
You don't have to check it out. Definitely don't check it out.
No.
That's how. Let's see, I did a 180.
And then Kriss Kyle came along with his hot air balloon in a carbon skate park and went, hold my beer.
What's he doing in the skate park though?
Avatar 2.
He's jet skiing. He's filled the skate park with water and he's jet skiing around it. Ridiculous.
Oh, God. What else we got? Okay. A lot of Darkfest questions.
Yeah, a lot of the Darkfest ones are great because they're like highlight the fact that we need to get someone on to talk it through.
Yeah, it's a lot of dark. This is basically when your
Darkfest
listeners
episode.
tell you what they want from the podcast. This is when we start. You have to start listening.
Yeah.
Russ Pierre, this is a great one. The one photo that most inspired you to go riding. That's fantastic.
Ooh.
That's a great question, Russ Pierre. That's a great question. All right, I've got two which straight away came straight to my brain. Two. We're going to go from two different sports, all right?
Please.
There's an image, and I don't know if it's a famous photo, but I remember the photo. It is a famous photo, of course it is. There's a photo of Jeremy McGrath doing a knack, and it's like an iconic photo. It was his logo for a long time, and it's a specific Supercross. I think it's Anaheim. He's got blue kit on a Yamaha YZ250, and that gets me want to go riding. Not because of the knack, it's just everything about the sport at that point and just biking in general. The look of it gets me fired up. The second one I'm going to go with is an old dirt cover of, I think it's Chris Kavarik on the front. It is Chris Kavarik, and he's got these massive fuck off calves, and he's drifting round a corner. It's like it'll be a right hand corner. Do you remember that one? It's Chris Kavarik. He's on an Intense maybe. Fox kit on, and that one still makes me go, oh, that's fucking cool. I just want to go ride a bike. They're my two that have just come to my brain.
They're good too. That is a good two. One of mine would be a dirt cover as well. It would be Palmer at Swatch or Plymouth Bike-Across or whatever it was. Do you remember that cover?
No.
It was like in jeans.
No.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really? Oh, sick.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that cover. I don't remember.
Maybe I'm getting mixed up. There was a photo anyway. There was a photo of him, at Plymouth. He was like completely not factory, and just that was cool. And then what else? What other ones would there be? God, it's tough. It would be Gilly at a set of trails. One of Gilly's covers at a set of trails, because trails get me hyped.
Well, older ones when he's on. Was he on Orange for a while, right?
Yeah. Orange, Spooky, a few others. But there's just so many. It's like, a Gilly shot will get me hyped.
Orange
I rode with Gilly
Halfords
yesterday.
Team? Did you?
No, I don't think he's on Orange Halfords. He was on Animal Orange.
Animal Orange.
With
That's what I
Minnar,
meant.
yeah.
Sorry. With my that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Wow.
That'd probably be it for me, yeah.
That's a great question. That's
It's
fantastic.
really good.
Please use the comment section. Tell us your favourite riding photo that makes you want to go riding. That's a fantastic question. That's one of those questions that actually every guest should always get asked. That question is fantastic. I really love that question. That's brought up memories. And there you go.
Brilliant. So, Sam Pring 99, a companionship, long-time companionship member and legend. Tips for building a big landing on your own. I'm actually currently doing this, and it is incredibly boring. And what I focus on, and it makes it easier for me, is I focus on taking dirt from somewhere I don't want it and putting it somewhere I do. And that sounds really stupid, but if you just every single shovelful is like 100% efficient. Like you're moving dirt from a place where you don't want it and putting it in a place where you do. And it will stop you digging massive, stupid holes, and it will stop you wasting any dirt as well. So that's my tip for building a massive landing on your own.
Fantastic tip. Really good. Appreciate it. Or bury a fridge.
There you go. Maybe not as fantastic, but I still really like your tip. Really good.
Oh dear. What else we got? The Duke 77.
Here we go.
The Duke. What was your favourite toy, not a bike, when growing up? Wow. It's a great one. I had a Playmobil. It is a bike, but it's not a bike that I'd ride. It was a Playmobil motocross rider.
Nice.
And that really sticks out to me as, like, I used to play with that thing constantly. You know, I didn't have many toys growing up. It's my mum listens to this. This will be quite funny. We weren't a very rich family. In fact, a lot of it was quite poverty stricken, to be honest. So a lot of the time I'd play with pieces of wood. Anyway, so not true. But I had this little Playmobil bike, and I used to love that thing. I played with it constantly. I used to make like tracks in the living room, and I'd make all these little bikes move along and
nice.
do that. So yeah, that's my favourite one for sure, I think. Basic. What about you?
I had micro machines. That's
it's even weirder because of the delay.
And like the fact that we're talking about children's toys as well.
My dad's. All right, we're gonna edit that out.
No,
that's disgusting.
Edit that out.
Too far. Edit that out.
Beep it at least. Fabio break-in and arrest from Jasper20.gt. The Wibmer story we're actually not clued up on, are we? We knew something's gone on. So all his kit's been nicked, I think, whilst he's been out there in Chile. And it's been nicked again.
Yeah, he's pretty good at leaving things in. He leaves things in his cars, doesn't he? It happened a few
They're all
years
convertibles
ago.
as well.
Robbed a few. Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
He leaves all of his shit in the car. It seems like, and goes riding, and people think, oh, that's worth a lot of money in there. All those camera equipment and stuff, and people steal it. But it looks like they found the guy from his Instagram post, and the Instagram post. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a dude just tied up on the floor. Hopefully they found him and tied him up. So
I'd love to hear more about it. Maybe someone else, but we'll find out more and we'll report on it next week because it is actually in my notes. I just didn't know what to say about it because that's all I know as well.
That's all I know. There's not even a caption on the Instagram post. I don't think it just says Fabio 1 Thieves 1.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There's nothing, there's no more. If anyone knows any more, please let us know again. Use the comment section. Comment section's been dry recently. It's super dry, so please let's fire those comments back up.
Please. A lot of the questions are actually just talking about how tough you are and well done for your challenge. So that's cool. Well done. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Dom Woolcott, red hot bath or cold plunge? Cold plunge for muscle repair. Great question. Quite topical because I'm currently trying to hit muscle repair pretty hard because I feel a little bit beat up at the moment. So today I've done 2 rounds of hot bath and cold plunge. So I'm very lucky that my brother lives around the corner from me. He has a cold plunge. I don't look weird at all when I do this, but basically this morning I went in the hot bath in my house. I then in swimming shorts. I then walk round the corner just in swimming shorts, get in the cold tub for 3 minutes, walk back to my house, back in the hot bath, then walk back and get back in the cold plunge. So I've done that twice today, 2 rounds of that.
Nice.
And, it looks mental, but it's so good. And I dare say that plus hitting the complex gun, I feel fucking good, to be honest, at the moment. So who's this one? Get him on.
It's my brother. I don't understand. I can't turn it off. My phone's on silent. It just, yeah. Honestly, this is a shit show, this episode. I also I like the sauna and a cold shower, which I do like most days. I don't know if it does anything, but like a sauna certainly makes me feel nice. So
there's loads of science around saunas and hot heat shock proteins, hitting the cold, mate. I'm really jealous that you have that actually at your gym, don't you? You've got a cold shower, is it? And a sauna. I love it. It
used to have like a ice pulley thing that dumps on your head, but I just have a cold shower and I just stay in it for a bit uncomfortably long and then go back in the sauna.
The best feeling. You always feel better after that.
Yeah, you do, don't you? The sauna's interesting. You always meet interesting people in the sauna as well, I feel like. There's always like weird characters. I've always found the sauna interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had like any... I don't think I've had many weird sauna experiences. I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
Mate, when we get the studio going and you come down here loads, I'll get you on it. We can go and have shared weird sauna experiences. These two are...
I don't know if I can afford that gym.
Oh, no, I don't know if I can either. No. But like, I can't remember what I was going to say now. It's an English sauna, so there's no nudity involved.
Is it mixed gender?
You what, sorry?
Or whatever they do. Is it mixed gender or whatever they do now? Is it like all genders? Yeah. You can be anything you want, yeah. But you have to wear clothes.
Yeah.
Inclusive. Does it say on it? Has it got a sticker on? Has it got a sticker on the door?
It probably does. Definitely no heavy petting allowed. I think that's wrapped up this episode wonderfully. We're going to get rid of the delay for the next one. And I
quite like it. It's kind of funny.
We want to say thank you for listening to episode 93. Once again, a huge round of applause to Davey for completing his challenge. I'm still doing Duolingo, and I haven't even booked the Spanish. Mate, this is...
It's so funny because we just still keep doing it. It's just so weird.
Thank you for listening.
Like and probably unsubscribe.
Peace and love. Oh no. Oh, that was a good episode, wasn't it?
Episode. Really enjoyed that one, mate. Yeah.
That was one of the best.
I think so. It's our best work so far. Yeah, definitely. So, what should people do if they want to keep in touch?
Just there.
Yeah.
There's one there.
One down there.
I think there's one there as well.
Like and subscribe.
Thank you.